Well, good evening, Islander fans. It's back-to-back nights of Islander hockey here on the West Coast, and the Islanders are prepared to take on the Anaheim Ducks tonight. I almost said Mighty Ducks there for a second. I absolutely hated that name. But anyway, as you can see from last night, I've changed my Islander swag, went with my lucky headband here. This headband usually does very well for the Islanders. Not that I'm a superstitious hockey guy or anything. No, maybe I am. I am a superstitious hockey guy. I don't mention shutouts and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm old school like Butch. Anyway, we've probably said this every game for the last 30, biggest game of the year for sure. It's important for us to beat this team. I mean, we have 12 more wins than the Ducks. Ducks only have 22 wins this year. So there's really no reason why we shouldn't beat this team. And I know with the parity in the NHL that any team can beat anybody on any given night, but these next two games are must wins for the Islanders. They have to win these two games. We need to keep putting the pressure on the teams with the games in hand, that they have to keep winning those games, or those games in hands mean nothing. So we need to be, as Barry used to put it, in the point collecting business and gather some points tonight, as in 2 points, not one. I'll take one if one is what comes, but two we need for sure. Some huge things happening. Myself personally, if I was a coach of the Islanders, I would have been starting Sorokin back to back. And apparently Lane agrees with me. So I'm pretty excited about that. And the most exciting news that I had of the day was that Josh Bailey wasn't on the ice for warmups. Maybe Lane watched my podcast last night. Maybe Bailey got hurt, but how can you get hurt if you just don't do anything? Like if you're never in contact with anybody or anything, I don't know how he could have got hurt. So I have to think that this is a decision made by Lane to actually just put him in the press box, not even a skate with the team. And I absolutely hope that this is true. Looks like Fasching's going to be going up to the first line, which I think a lot of Islander fans have been clamoring for a while now. We know that Fasching's not a stud, but we know that the guy works his ass off, and we know that he will give everything he has and is a way better fit for the first line than Josh Bailey is by a mile for sure. Anyway, I'm really excited about this game because we need it. We need it so bad. And I'm happy with the lineup decisions that have happened tonight. I was going to start this podcast by saying if lineup decisions weren't made tonight, there's something wrong and we need to do something. But really pleased to see that better late than never, that Lane's finally making some tough decisions. And I think on my podcast last night, I went on a little bit of rant saying how the Islanders are afraid to hurt anybody's feelings on the team. So it's nice to see them make some tough moves. And another one of the tough moves is telling Varley, you're not playing tonight. So good on you, Lane. That's what we need. And boy, oh boy, like I said, anybody can win any game at any time, but boy, do we need this one. Anyway, I'm pumped about it. We're going to see you in between the first and second period. Hopefully we got like a 2 or 3 goal lead by that time. Talk to you later. See you in the second, third. After one period of play, the New York Islanders are trailing the Anaheim Ducks 2-1. And wow, what an opening to this game. 25 seconds in, and we're already behind the 8 ball, giving up a quick goal. Ilya didn't have a chance on it. Didn't see the puck at all. It even hit his cheater of his glove, and he still almost made the save, not seeing it. He was going to the right place. His positioning was right, but just one of those things. It happens. It's bummer that it happened to us so fast like that. But Bo Horvat kind of let his man go, and that's how the puck ended up in the net. But oh well, what can you do? So anyway, the Islanders get off to I thought a pretty sluggish start. And for about the first 6-7 minutes, I thought Anaheim kind of had the edge in play, even though the shots were like 4-3 for the Islanders, I think, by about the 7-minute mark or whatever it was. But I thought around the 7-minute mark, the Islanders really picked up the pace and we're taking it to the Ducks. And then right at the end of the period, I mean, what can you do but tip the cap to Zegras on that play? You have to admire it. If you love hockey, yeah, it was against us, but that was a sweet play. Nothing we could do about it. However, with saying that, I feel so much different this whole game had such a different feeling than the Kings game last night. For one, the Ducks aren't nearly as good as the Kings, so I'm not really as worried. I thought we basically had the edge in play for the first period, and just one great play and another play that happens every once in a while where quick goals are scored in the game, and then we're down. However, we did come back to make it 1-1 on a really sweet pass by Engvall. That was a beauty, right on Palm's stick and completely in stride, and Palms with his great shot. That was a beautiful goal. It was nice to see Palms coming back. He was playing really well there for a little stretch, and he's kind of faded just a little bit, just for a few games, not long, but he had been playing well. And if he picks up his game, starts putting pucks in the net for us, that's going to help out a whole lot, that's for sure. But what a beautiful play by Engvall. First of all, he used his speed to get up the ice quick and left a couple of Ducks behind. And then, man, I know I said out loud in my out loud voice, what a pass, before the puck was even in the net. And it was just a thing of beauty. Like, Palms literally did not break stride, and he didn't fumble that pass, not one little bit. It just, that was a thing of beauty. I was pretty happy with Palms' game in the first period too. I thought he was playing well, but overall, not the worst first period that we could have. It sucks being down again, and no, we cannot afford to lose. And we only got 40 minutes left to make something happen in this game, and the next goal is going to be big. So I do see the Islanders playing with some desperation out there. It's not from lack of effort, so I'm not pissed off at the team or anything that we're down 2-1 right now. So it would have been nice if that pinch from Romanoff had worked. He used the stick instead of taking the body, and I think if he had taken the body, that Zegras play would have never happened, and we could have at least been 1-1. But yeah, nobody was going to stop that second goal. That was the thing of beauty. And I see Brock is loving that his new move, the big sweep around from behind the net, almost worked again. Gibson looked so awkward trying to get over to the other side of the net, but he realized that Brock had him beaten. If it wasn't for that defenseman, I think Brock would have had another wraparound. So anyway, I'm looking forward to, even though last night, the second period, was our death nail, I'm looking for better things tonight in the second period, and we really need to win this game, as the Caps and Buffalo went to overtime. So that's a 3-point game. That's not good for us. So anyway, looking forward to a good second period. Let's take it to them. Let's at least get this thing tied by the third period. Hopefully we go into the third with the lead. So see you in between the second and third period. Hopefully it's happier times. Now that's what I'm talking about. Sweet. After 2 periods of play, the New York Islanders come back with 2 goals in the second period and take our first lead of the evening. Islanders up 3-2 after 2 periods of play. That was exhilarating. That was fun to see. I was thinking during the game when I was watching it, I was thinking, like, I feel sorry for the fans who just look at the standings and go, Islanders should win this game no matter what. Like, our record is so much better. You have to come to the reality. Like, I'm an old school guy. Like, I'm big on tradition in the NHL and fighting and all that. I did a lot of it myself when I was younger, and I'm normally a traditionalist, but I really think that it's time for the Islanders to step up to the plate, basically, and start catching up with the rest of the league and in some of the things that they're doing. And I'll talk about that later in the video. But anyway, thrilling. Oh, I know what actually, I'm going to be honest here. I lost my train of thought, but I know what I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about the parity of the league, how you have to realize, you had to know this was going to be a tight fought battle. It's not just because the Islanders are so much better than the other team in than the Ducks. It's that every game, no matter what, is competitive. Like the Ducks may have 30, 40 losses, whatever it is. I don't even know what their record is, but I'm betting that, you know, 75 to 80% of those games were hard fought battles that were only lost by a goal or whatever. So you have to be realistic. And from what I'm seeing out of the Islanders tonight, I'm pretty happy with. I'm seeing a lot of effort. I'm seeing a lot of good things happen that haven't seen before. So it's very positive and exciting that hopefully we can get through this. And I just can't but help. But I hate our organization for not at least giving us a ballpark figure on Barzal so that we know we got something to look forward to. But this injury thing just drives me absolutely nuts with the hiding of it. I mean, have they actually ever officially said that Wallstrom's out for the season? Like, come on, like, just let us know. Is he only going to be back for the playoffs? What is it like? But other than that, the Islanders are doing great without him. So other than last night and the game before, I thought that they really could have used them, but here they are, and they're fighting away. And lo and behold, by keeping Hudson Fasching in the lineup, boy oh boy, does he come through for us big time, tying the game up. And I got to tell you, this was my reaction. This is a reenactment of when Fasching scored. Hudson fucking Fasching. Whoa, woo. Yep, that was a great reenactment. That was pretty close to what happened. I was absolutely thrilled. And Paul Murray was in on that. And who else was in on? I gotta get my glasses here. Sorry, guys. Parise and Aho. So really great play by both those guys, getting the puck up and Hudson going. And man, he seems to be playing with so much more confidence. He just took that shot. Like he said, he faked his confidence when he came up at when he was called up to the Islanders. And whether he was faking it or not, this guy's shown nothing but confidence since he's been with the Islanders and is looking great. And thankfully, he's in the lineup tonight to get that goal. So I thank the hockey gods just for that alone. And then the Islanders just came storming after that. And Brock, good old Brock. What a view we had of that on the camera. Eh? It was beautiful. So as the pass is coming across, we have this gorgeous view of Brock getting in the windup, and you could see the whole empty net. And then from the second that puck left Brock's stick, you could watch it glide right up to the very top of the empty net. Oh man, that was a thing of beauty. So we do have somebody on the Islanders who can one time. Brock is starting to prove that he can in one time. He's scored many one-timers now this year doing that. And it's great to have number 29 for number 29. So great job there, Brock. And I got to give kudos to Pelech because Pelech made a nice play on that. And I didn't mention that he got an assist on the first goal when I was in the intermission last time. So my bad on that for not mentioning Pelech being in on the goal. So anyway, so Pelech picking up his second assist, which is just fantastic. And I'm so excited. I can't even remember who the other one. Oh yeah, it was Paul Murray. And I thought Palms is having just a whale of a game tonight, and talked about that in the first intermission. If this guy turns it around and starts becoming the player he's been in that small little stretch he had, and way he's looking tonight, if he can just keep that elevated for a while, I'm liking some of the line combinations that I'm starting to see out there. It's working. So anyway, I'm pretty excited. We need to shut this one down. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be pretty. It can be in a shootout. I don't care. Give Anaheim a point. I don't want to give Anaheim a point, but if that's how we get our 2 points, that's how we get our 2 points. I don't care. Just get us 2 points. So shut them down in the third period, Alex. I'm excited. I'm hoping that I have much better things to talk about at the end of the game than I did last night after the Kings game. So let's go, Islanders. Let's win this one. Let's put the pressure on these guys below us. Often imitated, never duplicated. The New York Islanders, baby. And we're back with a vengeance. And we're coming for everybody. And what are you going to do when the New York Islanders run wild on you, baby? Hey. The New York Islanders defeat the Anaheim Ducks 6-3. Wow. It's a good thing I waited a half hour before I started the podcasting, or else I would have just been a babbling idiot. So I watched the post game going on, and sorry for that intro, but the only people who will get that intro is anybody who's a New York Islander fan on Twitter. So, woo, that was exhilarating. How exciting was that? That was awesome. It's about time we had a little bit of a laugher, and it was nice to just relax and enjoy the moment of the third period. And I got to tell you, New York Islanders won the way the New York Islanders have to win. And that's with just like contributions from everywhere, literally everywhere. Our big guns, Anders and Bo, didn't come through tonight, but everybody else did. So Saturday night, Bo, Anders, have a great night. Give some of the other guys a bit of a break for that night, and maybe with a couple other additions helping out a little bit would be nice. But overall, wow, fantastic game by the Islanders. Now you got to remember your competition. But even with saying that, like I talked about earlier in the game, don't be surprised if it's a nail biter with teams like Anaheim and San Jose and that. So we took care of business. That's what we had to do. And yeah, so let's talk about the third period. Well, our third periods have actually been pretty good for us lately. We had a little bit of a dip there for a second for a couple games, but we're right back on track with scoring the third periods, which has been so weird this year, how we did in the first 25 games, and then the next 25 games was polar opposite. And now we're back on track with third period goals again. And overall for the season, it leaves us at plus 11. So but third periods are looking good for the Islanders right now. What a huge win. This was just so big in so many ways. So let's talk about the scoring in the period. Pierre Engvall, our Lou, are you gonna win another trade? Is that what you're telling me? Engvall with his 15th goal of the year. And in on a basically it was a breakaway kind of, and it was a breakaway, and he just scored. And we're not used to that as Islander fans. We're used to trading for somebody and then having them struggle for 15 games before they actually do something, kind of like Paul Mary did when he joined us. So that's the kind of thing we're used to. So Engvall looking fantastic in this game. He already had that one great assist in the first period that I was pumped about that assist. And then to come through like that so early in the third period really took all the tension off the game for us, even though there was still a bit, but we had to go. But then the onslaught was on. So going up 4-2 with getting that 15th goal, and then Paul Mary getting another assist, having a whale of a game at the time. So that's a goal and 2 assists for Palms. And then shortly after that goal, it's Brock Nelson, number 30. So happy for Brock to see him hit 30 again. I'm a huge Brock fan. I've always been a huge Brock fan. Even in the early days when he was only scored in October, I still like Brock. He's just like a lovable character kind of guy. I don't know. And it's just so rewarding to see him getting paid off like this in full. So that's back-to-back 30 goal seasons for him. Could end up with around 35 again this year, close to last year's 37. So no complaints from Brock, but I was thinking just before this game that we kind of needed Brock to step up a little bit, and he did that in spades tonight. So he'd kind of disappeared for a while. I even said last night Brock was the ghost, which he was, and he was a completely different player tonight. he really stepped up for us. He really is our big gun. He is our, even with Bo Horvat and that. What Bo did was with Vancouver. Bo still needs to prove to us that he can be that guy. And this is no knockdown on Bo, because I absolutely 100% think he can. But we've had Brock bring us out of the embers of the fire many times, and he stepped up tonight in a big game, scoring 2 goals and getting that 30th of the year. It was well earned. And then Kyle Palmieri also assisting on it, gets his 14th assist of the year, and 3 of those assists were tonight as well as a goal. So great job there. And Dobby finally chipped in for a point, getting his 27th assist. But like I said, the beauty of this game, it wasn't our big scorers that, other than Brock, that really brought us through this game. It was just a full team thing. Like, there was no Anders points, no Horvat points, and Dobby only picked up 1 point. So it was just a team effort tonight. So it was thrilling to watch. I'm so happy. It was such a huge win. And then Zach Parise got his 17th goal. So hopes are still alive for that 20-goal season for Zach. And if he can get 20 goals at 38 years old, that'll really be something. But Zach had a great game too. He was boogieing around all night, and finally paid off with his persistence going to the net. Pajot put on a shot, and Pager picks up his 20th assist. So I guess that's also a watermark assist for Mr. Pajot. And that pretty much was the game at 6-2. And we gave up a late one to Shattenkirk on the power play. And that was no big deal to us, because the important thing was to win. The only person that got hurt by this was me, with having Ilya in my fantasy hockey league. So, but you know what? I can live with that. So great game by the Islanders tonight. So thrilled to see them come through in a big victory. It was a much needed win. I'm probably much more happier than I should be by beating Anaheim. But you know what? I look at everybody the same. It's just a game, and you got to win it. And you don't always win those games. We know that kind of stuff. So good win by the Islanders. And it really comes down to be very, very important Saturday night when we play the Ducks. Come out of this 2-3. I said back in the first podcast I did last night there, that if we come out of this 2 out of 3, we're pretty much in the driver's seat going home here. So once you take a look at the standings again, we're at 78 points, and next is 73. The bottom line is those teams have got to win all those games. They have to win them all. The pressure is so on them. And then not only do they have to win those games, but then they got to continue winning those games to get ahead of us. So we're sitting in a pretty spot. We're going to be a very well-rested team for these last 12 games. And the other teams are going to be playing these must-win games like we've been playing all along. We've been playing them since December, but everybody's just catching up to us now, and that takes a lot out of the other teams trying to chase and catch up to us. So so I'm pretty happy with the result tonight. 6-3 win for the Isles. A lot of dispersed scoring all over the place. So for the Isles, great game. So let's go to the players. Simon Holmstrom. He didn't get a ton of ice time tonight, but I thought he was definitely really good at what he was doing out there. Definitely so defensively responsible and whatnot. So overall, he had a really good game. I was really happy with Simon. Zach Parise. Well, his effort was out there, but he wasn't making a lot happen tonight. Whereas his effort a lot of times will be the result of something good happening. And it wasn't right until the very end of the game when he got his goal. And I thought, oh, okay, there we go. Hockey gods are finally being just here, because he did deserve a little something for his effort. And not everybody scores that goal, because everybody doesn't go to the net at that speed that Zach went in there to go get the puck. So kudos to Zach. Let's hope you can get 3 more to get to that 20. That would really be something as a 38-year-old. That would be awesome. Bo Horvat, thought he had a better game tonight. I didn't think he had a bad game last night, but I thought he had a better game because Anders had a better game, and one other reason that I'll talk about in a second here. But yeah, Bo had a good game with no results, and that's fine. That's fine because we scored 6 goals tonight, and that's how good hockey teams work. Now, hopefully, Bo will come through in the clutch for us on Saturday night when we need him again. Where Saturday night's game is just as important as tonight's. Now that we've won it, this game means nothing, and we now need to win that next one against San Jose because it's going to get tougher down the road. We still got a couple of games against Washington, and that can give team like Washington life. Like they can be way out of it at 7 points, right? And Washington looks at it and they go, well, we just need to focus in on the Islanders. We're 7 points behind them, but we got 2 games against them. If we win both those games, we're only 3 points behind them. We got 1 game in hand and we win that one, then we're only 1 point behind them. So we don't want to give those teams any life. So we need to keep tacking on the points. So good game by Bo Horvat. Josh Bailey thought he played his best game of the year. And we'll leave it at that. So who's next then after Josh? Okay, let's go with Clutterbuck. Well, I'm going to put all 3 guys into this one, Casey, Clutter, and Matt. They had an atypical they've been more impactful as a line, as in changing games, but they still had a very good impact in this game. It was one of their better identity line games. So there was never any real problems when they were out there, and they were I've seen them hemming in top lines for a minute. So all 3 of them, I'm going to give a kudos to all 3 of them. So good job. It's pretty much what we expect out of them. We don't get it all the time anymore because of their age and whatnot. So when we get it, we have to appreciate it a little bit more. So, but it was nice to see those guys come up with a good game, and they had some scoring chances as well. So good game by the 4th line. Very impressed. Engvall. Wow. What can you say? Like, holy cow. This guy is just stormed onto the Islanders here. Now, I will tell you, I've watched a lot of Pierre Engvall, but this guy has a tendency of doing this where he comes on strong like this and then he'll just completely disappear. However, I will say this. He's getting much more of a chance with the Islanders than he did with the Leafs. Now, anybody who's ever played hockey knows that the number one thing you need playing hockey is confidence. And if this is the legit Pierre Engvall, like the way he's playing right now, I'm all for it. And it is just a steal of a trade. Longevity of this trade is going to be what seems to make the difference in this trade for me. So we'll see how that works out. However, with saying longevity, we're getting a lot of short-term rewards from them right now in a very important time of the season for us. So, great game by Engvall. I got to tell you, I love having Engvall and Brock Nelson out on the ice together. They look like 2 big birds just going up and down the ice. And the last time I seen a guy like that was the last guy who was called Big Bird, and that was Larry Robinson. And it's just like watching these 2 skinny, tall guys just go like lightning. And it was fun to watch. I have no doubt in my mind that Engvall sparked Brock tonight. I really do think that, but Brock on his own accord was still had a hell of a game on his own. But I really enjoyed watching those guys, and they seem to click. And then you put the the gutsy grinder, good shot Palmieri guy on the other side, and you got yourself a pretty nice looking line there. There's some interesting combinations that you can make, and boy, would I ever like to start making some combinations with the return of Matt Barzal. Even though we didn't need him tonight, we need him. So Matt, get healthy. Come on, throw us a lifeline. Tell us when your real due date is back so that we know. Great game by Engvall. And then the next to talk about is Fasching. So just another game. And he was robbed an assist, by the way, on the Parise goal. He started that whole play. He was down in the Islander end, and he grinded it out, won the board battle, got the puck up to was it? Yeah, he got it up to Parise. Parise gets the puck just poke checked, but he gets the puck back, and then he passes to Pager, and then Pager shoots, and then Zach cleans up the garbage. Well, I guess they're saying that poke check was possession, which took away the assist from, still gave it to Pajot because it happened after that, but it took away the assist from Fasching. But I've seen a lot cheaper assists than that given out, let me tell you, in the NHL. And Hudson was robbed of an assist as well tonight. But wow, what a like, it was huge. Like, Hudson Fasching was playing tonight because Josh Bailey wasn't playing tonight. And I guess that's not true. Holmstrom would have been the one not playing, but you know what I mean? Like, you just can't take this guy out of the game. Like, he tied the game for us. I was watching the post game, and it was like Brock said, we knew we were playing well, but you hate being behind all this time, just going, yeah, I know we're playing well, and I really think we can beat these guys. You can only play so long like that until, doubt starts creeping in. So Hudson scoring just a huge goal. And the way he did it too, the decision he made, a 3-on-1, and he chose to shoot. How long have we been begging for players like this to do that? It's like, no, we'll go in on a 3-on-1 and we'll pass and lose the puck. And just, it was such a huge goal. He's playing with such confidence. I don't think it's fake confidence like he said, but maybe it was at the start, but I gotta believe he's feeling the real deal right now. So really great game by Hudson Fasching. Great move to keep him around, and I'm just really happy with him. Okay, let's talk about Kyle Palmieri. Wow. Holy smokes. 4-point night. That's a career high. Who would have ever thought that? I would have thought Palmieri would have had a 4-point night sometime in the past. He's had a good career point wise in that. I was really surprised to hear that. And in tonight's game, the volume was also bad on the Islander broadcast. I had to go over and watch the first period with the Ducks, and they were still talking about how sad they were. They go, we don't want to talk about this anymore, but we should have never gotten rid of Palmieri. Like, they're still cursing the trade with New Jersey. And then he goes and has a career night against you. So I went back to the Islander broadcast at the second period. It was all straightened out. So I never got to see the reaction, but it must have been like, oh my God, why did we trade this guy? So outstanding game by Palms tonight. Awesome jobs. Really, I like Palms. He's an honest player. He's a hard worker, and I like seeing Palms get rewarded. He's got a great shot too. Anders Lee, much better game than last night, even though no points on the board. I'm not upset with that. I'm just more happy with his play tonight. So he was engaged. He was along the boards. He was working. He was making things happen. He was in front of the net. He was doing all things that Anders needs to do. He was hustling. He was forechecking. He was back checking. So happy, even though he was pointless tonight, still happy with his performance, especially after what I witnessed last night. So good to see Anders get back on track. Like I said, I'm hoping for a big night from the Horvat line on Saturday against San Jose. All right, who does that bring us to? Well, Brock Nelson. I talked to you about Brock already. Fantastic game for Brock. He really stepped up. He is our main man. He's the guy. He's our 230 goal guy that he's the man right now. So great job by Brock stepping up. He was flying like the wind out there. It just seemed like it almost seemed like Nelson and Engvall were like pair figure skaters. It was almost like they were attached, just swooping down the ice together. It was a thing of beauty to watch. I really loved it. All right, so who's after that? Pajot, pretty much kind of what I thought was going to happen tonight. I noticed a little bit of a slide off on Pajot. I thought that would happen second game back from injury. So I wasn't as impressed with him tonight as I was last night. However, he still gets reward with shooting a puck on net and Zach picking up the garbage to get a goal. So overall, an okay game for Pager. Nobody really did anything bad tonight that I would really hammer down on anything. Not even Bailey. Bailey was great. I tell you. So, it's a good night when I got nobody to complain about. So, let's go to Adam Pelech. Oh my God. I hope you guys remember this sequence. It was just amazing. Ilya has a bad handoff and leaves the puck there and thought Pelech was coming or thought an Islander defenseman was coming, but there was nobody there but an Anaheim guy. And Ilya had no idea that was happening because he now had his back to it. And Pelech flat out diving on his stomach, knocks the puck off the Anaheim guy's stick from trying to wrap it around, makes a beautiful play. And I swear to God, 4 seconds later, he's up in between the hash marks and makes a beautiful kick save, blocking the shot. I was like, that is what people don't know about Adam Pelech on the outside. That not like Islander fans. We know how important Pelech is to us. The more knowledgeable hockey people know how important Pelech is. But man, if that isn't Pelech's game in a nutshell, right there, I don't know what is. So great game by him for sure. Pelech, he was okay, but definitely he got a couple of shots on net that were dangerous, but he missed a lot of net tonight on a few tries. So I try not to be too judgmental on that with the defenseman, because unless you have literally are in his skates, he's the only one who has an eye view of what he can see to get a puck through. And there might be nothing there and we don't even know it. But since you're winding up for a shot, you're going to get it through. And if it goes off the boards, it goes off the boards. We got a bad break because it rimmed around on Pulock, and we ended up getting scored on the Zegras play. But other than that, unless we have that bird's eye view of what we're seeing from Pulock's eyes, which we don't. The TV, it's easy to be an armchair critic up here on those for sure. So I thought Pulock had an okay game. Like I said, probably not as good as last night, but he had a good one. Dobby, he was kind of didn't really stick out as good or bad tonight. So I guess for me as a defenseman, that's a good sign. However, with the offensive side that Dobby has, you would like him to stick out a little bit more, but he still picked up an assist, a secondary assist. So, it wasn't a bad game for sure. So, yeah, okay. So we'll let it go at that. Scott Mayfield, once again, I thought had another good game, played defensively, fantastic, was mean on the puck. I really liked what I saw him doing to that duck when he was twisting his head over the crossbar. Now, I don't think I'm a sadistic jerk, but from my perspective of what I saw of Scott from my playing time, and that I know Scott, we've watched him his entire career, and Scott can be a little dirty at times, but this is a different case. This was I have seen Scott do something like that, but then let go and not continue to twist the head like the way he was doing it over the crossbar. But this time, that guy took about 4 whacks at Ilya Sorokin. And the one person you don't take liberties on in this team is Ilya Sorokin. And I really think Scott Mayfield was making a point. Like, that's a no-go right there. And like I said at the time, I would have been happy if he had taken a penalty on that. I would have been more than pleased with what he did on that play. So great job by Scott tonight, being our little bit of an enforcer there and playing great defensively. So good game for Scott. Sebastian Aho, I thought, was in better position tonight than he was last night, and therefore his defense was much better. A lot of times what he doesn't get credit for defensively is sometimes how he just takes off with the puck and skates the puck out of our end. That's great defense, because the other option is rimming around the boards where somebody intercepts it or whatever. So he had a ton of jump to his step tonight, and it looked like, because he had a ton of jump on his step tonight, it looked like he was in much better position than he was last night. I hate to talk good about Aho, because I got a good friend who's not a big Aho fan, and I hear about it if I mention on the podcast that if Aho has a good game. But from what I saw, looked pretty good to me. But George is pretty good at knowing his stuff too. So I never know. Maybe I'm missing stuff, especially in a 6-3 win when I'm overly excited. And that leaves us with Romanov, who I thought just had a good game. I didn't really notice Romanov that much tonight, and with defensemen, normally that's a pretty good thing. So overall, everybody played pretty good, other than maybe Ilya, but I can't be mad at the goals that were scored on him. So it's just weird for him to give up 3 goals on 23 shots. So I don't know if I can say it's a bad shot, but I'll tell you one thing: when it went to 2-1, I was pretty sure that Ilya could keep the score at 2. What I wasn't sure of was if the Islanders could score 2 goals. He did keep it at 2 until it didn't matter anymore, and could give up 1 on the power play to make it 3 for the night. But the one thing you know about Ilya is he's going to keep you there. So yeah. So overall, just a great night by the Isles. Two huge points, and especially with Buffalo and Washington getting 3-point game tonight, which Washington got the second point in, which is what I was hoping for. Actually, I would have preferred Buffalo just to win outright, but if it was going to be a 3-point game, I wanted it to be Washington, because I just think Buffalo's a better threat, even though they can be inconsistent. And should never count out the Capitals, but they're right beside us there. I think we've only played 1 more game than us, and I'm confident that we can keep ahead of the Capitals. So, and we've got 2 games against them. So we, either way, we get to, if it comes down between us and the Capitals, we get to determine our own fate. So anytime that happens, that's a good thing. So looking at the standings right now, it's looking good. We're tied with the Pens, and we're 5 up. So it's in the other team's hands now. Can you win your games in hands just to catch us? Remember, that's just to catch us. There's only a couple teams that can pass us by a point. But yeah, you got to win all those to pass us by a point. So big game coming up Saturday night, and hope you'll join me. I'm gonna do another podcast on this West Coast swing. So tonight's was much more enjoyable doing than it was last night. So anyway, I want to tell everybody out there, you guys all, you know what? Every time I sign off, I always think, man, there was so much more to say. And I know as I'm signing off that I know there's more that I want to say, that I want to talk about, but when you get into it, and I have no script, I'm just doing it off the top of my head. Well, I kind of pre-plan it in my head of what direction I'm going to go, but then I get off track. That could be the ADHD. I don't know, possibly. Anyway, so even though I'm probably going to leave with some really great points that I didn't point out, I'm just going to tell you guys and girls out there in Islander land, you all take care, and peace out.